In early 2011, world-renowned coastal expert Professor Enzo Pranzini visited the southwest of Western Australia to participate in a series of site visits and presentations hosted by the Southwest Catchments Council. The presentations focused on the topical issues of shoreline protection and sea level rise. Professor Pranzini provided an excellent perspective on different types of shoreline protection, how they work and their impact on beaches, referring to lessons learnt worldwide. The seminars and site visits were an excellent opportunity for the Southwest community to become better informed about this important issue and how we can begin planning and protecting our diverse and unique coastal assets now. Enzo has over 35 years experience on coastal evolution and its relationship with environmental, economic, political and social contexts. The professor studies and teaches at the University of Florence in Italy. Currently, he gives undergraduate and graduate courses on climatology, physical geography, coastal geomorphology and coastal dynamics and defence. The professor has also consulted for many national and international coastal projects. This video provides a snapshot of the professor's presentation explaining different coastal protection techniques and methods, their advantages and disadvantages, which finally leads to discussion about global predictions for climate change and sea level rise.
I will run across different shore protection structures. Unfortunately, we do not have enough time to enter in details to explain cost and benefit of each of them, but from the picture you will see, probably you will understand everything. And I generally say that I have nothing to teach you, but you will probably learn a lot from our mistakes, the mistakes we have done in Italy, and I hope that you will not make the same mistakes. We fought against shore protection in a very stupid way, trying to defend the limited sector of coast without any coordination at regional level, and we create hundreds of kilometers of shore protections which completely transformed our coast, as you will see. However, I will show you examples from other parts of the world where not always they have done better than in Italy. I will skip the final part of this presentation, beach nourishment. If someone is interested, later we can discuss of that. This is Italy, and we see that we say almost all the world coasts are eroding. Not erosion is a very particular condition of the coast. So we have to defend our coastline because we have built a lot of towns along the coast. We have communications, railway, roads, and so. We must prevent flooding from storms, from sea storms. We have to defend tourism structures. In Italy, they are very important. We have reclamations, or sometimes we extend the land. Probably not all of you can localize this area, but it was Sydney. So the seaward expansion had to be protected by shore protections. But this is not the law everywhere. For instance, in the States, they decided not to protect any private buildings. So they are now abandoned on the coast. They will be demolished by waves and nobody spend to protect them. This is a solution possible in some places, not everywhere. So we have to defend the coast. In India, they have the same problem as in Italy. There are different kinds of structures. This seems a dumping area, but it's a shore protection in the United States. This is in Poland. You see three different kinds of structures located to protect the coast. And this is Italy, unfortunately. This is where people go for holiday. I never should go there. But probably this is the reason for which I'm here. We acquired so much experience in shore protections that we are invited everywhere to say not to build this, not to build that. This was a sandy coast. This is the Adriatic coast, Rimini. Probably someone knows that. It's south of Rimini. This is near Florence, where I live. Each kilometer of coast is protected by more than 2 kilometers of rocks. Okay, we have 4 ways to protect the beach. To stabilize the shoreline in a very strong and rigid way, to reduce wave energy, to intercept sediment transport along shore, or to modify the beach morphodynamics, which is much more difficult. To stabilize the shoreline is quite easy. You dump a lot of stones, and if the stones are large enough, they don't move, and you stabilize the coast. The problem is that any reflective structures and seawalls, riprapes, revetments are all of them reflective. They create high turbulence in front, and if the waves are oblique, they also induce longshore currents. So generally, when these structures are reached by waves, you lose the beach, and it's very difficult for the beach to return, because during fine weather, when you have constructive waves, waves cannot deposit sand in front of the structure because of reflection. So sometimes you induce stable erosion where you build such structures. You see this area here, where you have the structures, you have a shorter beach than here. Here you have prominence in the coast because there is no structure. Another problem is that sometimes you do not have safe access to the sea. You must build stairs, and it's very risky to swim here during storms. So you lose also the touristic use of the coast. There are different systems like this in which some nests able to resist to ultraviolet beams, which contain the stones. You can put and you can remove them if the erosion phase has passed. And you can also vegetate them. Or you can create sandbags with geotextile to defend properties and other things. The advantages of this is that if it's an experimental defense, you can cut the bags, you lose the sand, and the beach returns in a natural condition. Not always natural, as you can see from this. These are defenses which are quite easy to build with stones or with geotextile. If you use a concrete element, you can create different shape like this. And the advantages is that you can reduce the undertow, for instance, which can erode at the toe of the structure and determine its collapse. You have different solutions for this. All of them are not touristically useful. You cannot maintain a beach useful for tourist activity, but some are very useful to stabilize the coast. So you must decide, I want the beach or I want the land. Generally, you cannot have both. With concrete, you can create any shape. Generally, you create concave shape to prevent overflooding from the waves. Overflooding is a risk because the water make the collapse of the structure. If you have too much water behind the structure, water infiltrates and create problems. So you can have any shape like this. You have mixed solutions, concrete and stones, like this. This is the most famous seawall. It's in San Francisco. It's famous because it cost, at the present cost should be, let's say, 150 million for meter of cost. It's a really very expensive, million, it's 1,5 million di lire, divide 1,000.